Hello and welcome back. So let's start with now the validity and accuracy section of the spreadsheets for accounting. So let's start with this first one, checking validity results. I've got some data here, and if I switch this now to the equations side of it in here, so you can see it. And let's see if we can see if all of these things would be 100, and if they're not, they're going to switch to a little exclamation mark, and if they are, we're going to have just a blank there. So we'd have an if, and then if this cell is equal to that, then do nothing. Otherwise, do this. So we could do that, or alternatively, we can sort of change this to being, say, zeros here, and otherwise, like that. Oh, let's just take out the speech box. So, and then we'll change this back. So it's from the formulas. There you go. So we got that there as a little logic test. So we've got logic tests that we can put in here. When a logic test is an if, open bracket, whatever it is that you're going to do in terms of this test here. And it could be, if something's bigger than something's not equal to something, which will be the two difference, the greater or equal, and zeros and you go. So if there's the logic text, if it is true, then do this. If it's not true, then do that. Okay, so that's a logic test. Checking the links in here. Okay, well, we can go through, and there is in formulas here, you've got error checking, trace dependence, trace precedence, and trace dependence, which we've got there. So those are two things which we can sort of check through. We've got error checking in here as well, which will trace errors and error checking. Now, I think circular validations have been taken off the syllabus, but we can have another. But this is basically where you have the error checking. It's sitting within formulas in here, and you go through and check it. Data validation. Okay, let's start with this one. Now, data validation is sitting in here. Data validation in this tab here. I'm going to open it up now. It's a shame that this can't be bigger. But what we have here is if we see this cell, at the moment we're in it, and it's saying you can allow anything. Anything can be typed into that cell. So if I come back into here and I type anything, you can see I can write now, and I'm going to put into here, so I can write just gibberish, basically, into that cell. Okay. Well, let's go back into the data validation in here. I've got two options. Well, I've got options here. I could now say, well, actually, this thing is only going to have particular things. So whole numbers, particular decimals in there, so we can have amounts between minimums and maximums. They can only have dates in there. It could only have times. We could fix the text length, so they can only be, a certain amount of length in there, and we can custom them. But actually, quite often in real life, you'll set up a list. So let's now have some names in here. And list of names in here. Okay. Now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up in here this thing that I can just have this list, and it's only these things that are on this list that can be entered into this cell in here. I'm going to drag it down a bit as well. So just to drag it down, I got into that little error and I put down. Now you can see here there's a couple of things that have appeared now. I've got a drop-down box, so I can now pick that person. But let's try and just put in M. Norton instead. And it says, nope, you're not having that at all. And so what we can do in this things with data validation is we can require particular sort of cell entrance in there. It's very useful if I wanted to try and, let's say that this was a list of sicknesses in there, and I wanted to put Michael Norton in, and then later on I wanted to add up the number of times that I've been sick in there. Excel won't be able to pick up M. Norton, Mike Norton, Michael Norton, Michael N, whatever, but it can pick up Michael Norton if it's specifically exactly the same. So what we do is we use data validation to make very specific answers, really. And either we're going to have a list of answers, or we're going to have things that are between particular names, or they're going to be particular decimals, or there's going to only be certain length of cells, and that'll be that. So that's how data validation is used. And if you use the list version, you have this nice little drop-down box as well. We can go down to here, and we can put in these people here like that. So that's data validation. And then error checking, you've already just seen that one. Now, it was in formulas, and it's in error checking in here. And let's try and make a circular reference, or equals to that cell there, and then equals to that cell. So we've created a circular reference. We've got a circular reference in there, and we will error checking in here, error checking. Oh, there's a circular reference there. It's saying, look, there's your circular reference. Now, of course, it's quite easy to see, but if this was in a mass of data going off, a huge amount of calculations in real life, the spreadsheets go on for a long period of time when we're trying to find out where was that circular reference that's appeared and crept in. That's how we find it. So that's data. That's validating and accuracy of data. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.